I've been very bad at blogging, so now I'm trying vlogging, which is terrible. But anyway, I thought I would do a short video, especially for those of you who don't live nearby, so you can see where I'm up to. So this is the Open Eco Homes weekend, which Transition Town Totnes organises every year, and having been involved in organising and viewing lovely properties for the last few years, I've now opened my house and I'm doing 3 tours today. It's not exactly a house, it's definitely a building site, but I'll give you a quick tour of the building site before the first folks arrive. This is it. This is my site in Harberton Ford. So we're looking kind of northish at the moment. There's a lovely eucalyptus tree, and behind the eucalyptus tree the ground drops down into the valley, and the village hall and playing field and river are down there, so I will have really nice views to the north from my upstairs window once the house is up. So the last, where are we, maybe month, been starting on the timber frame. So this pile of lovely timber in the middle is larch, and that was grown in a woodland near Buckfastleigh, so that's about 8 miles away, and milled by my friend Zav at his sawmill, which is about 5 or 6 miles away. And we had it visually graded, and it passed, which was good. So then my friend Tom, who's done some framing and carpentry, and I started assembling the box beam. So that's this big chunky timber frame that spans across the foundation piers. So these are brick piers that come out of the ground. I want as little concrete as possible, basically. I didn't want a solid floor either, so it'll be a suspended timber floor which will hang off the inside of this box. So I can also show you it's fixed down through this. This is the foundations, and underneath here is an almighty metal bolt and nut which go down and pin the frame down into the foundations, and then this chunky bit on top is joining these guys together. And then I'll probably also put a nail plate on the side. And then once the box is finished, which it is, just the ground floor one, the next stage is to put in these posts. So these guys are the short posts at the back. There's a single story extension at the back. Come round. And then that fella, who's really big, little ones, big ones, that is the full height of the roof box. So that's where the roof will start. And basically we put the posts in place, and we use wooden noggins with big chunky almighty coach screws to fix them in place. You can see the 2 bolts down on the side there, and that noggin is fixed through on the sides, I think. Should be there. I think there's 12 fixings per post, and at the moment there's just a couple of temporary braces just to hold them nice and upright. And once that's in, then we can insulate. So over here we've got some lovely thermofleece wool insulation. So I was here on Friday, and the bit which is under the straw and just to the right, that's all insulated. And then on top goes some OSB, which is screwed down, and then this Tyvek, which is an impermeable but breathable membrane to protect it from the weather. The timber frame would be okay, but OSB sterling board doesn't really like getting wet. So that there, taped in place, that will stay there until, well, basically forever. At the moment this stuff's not properly fixed down and it's just a temporary covering. Once it's all insulated I'll fix it permanently. So we need to go and put the posts on all of the other walls, which is hopefully happening on Wednesday. And then the next stage, starting next week, I've got a friend called Jen from Sheffield who's coming down, and we're going to start the next box beam. So basically at the top of those short posts will be the first floor box, which the first floor will hang off. That gives you the height of the back of the building as well. So that's next week, and then hopefully early mid-November we'll get the remaining timber, third batch, which will be the roof box beam and the rafters. And then my aim then is kind of maybe hopefully by the end of November-ish, if I'm lucky, to have not a full roof on, but like a membraned kind of watertight roof. And then I can wrap the whole building ambitiously in Tyvek or similar, so that I can start putting in straw. So you don't really want to get straw wet, so it's very important that I watertight the building as much as possible. So then I'll plough away getting the straw in, no pun intended, and then properly roof, do slating and so on. So scaffolding's going up hopefully by the end of the week, so that we can start working at height. What else is there to say? The straw has come from a local farm. It's John Perkins at Dartington Dairy, Old Parsonage Farm on the Dartington estate. And the wheat was grown from my friend Holly's project, which grows local grains and stuff, called Grown in Totnes. She grew some beautiful population wheat, and I said, John, what are you doing with the straw? And he said, you can buy it. So I had a lovely group of 20 odd friends who turned up to help pull 330 odd straw bales into a barn on John's farm, and then in November hopefully I'll be taking delivery of those in maybe 3 batches. It's not a lot of space on site, I can't really accommodate 300 bales, and then I can start building. So you know, the winter, the timing basically is all off. It's really delayed, but that's okay. So I can't do a lot externally, everything needs to be kept kind of watertight, but I can start doing stuff internally. So get the floor joists in, get the straw in, the windows should arrive before Christmas, I'll get those in. I can start doing stud walls. I don't think it's probably wise to start doing internal plaster, but I guess once the windows are in and if it's fully insulated, then it might be warm enough that the clay would dry, maybe with a little bit of heating. So I'll think about doing that as well. Let's give you a sense of what it's going to look like. So I put out a little display of bits and bobs for when people come for the tour. That's my EPC certificate, and that just shows you how energy efficient it is. So it's an A, it's a 92, it's in the highest band, which is what I wanted. This is a block plan, so that shows you how the house will fit from above. To the right hand side there's a little bike store and shed, a parking space out the front, and then at the back there's a little garden, and tucked in this current zone of chaos will be a nice little courtyard sun trap. And this is inside, so it's an upside down house. So coming in the front door over here into the hallway, you've then got the master bedroom, the bathroom behind it, and I've got another bedroom at the back. And then come up the stairs here and you're into a big open plan kitchen, living, dining room. I say big, it's 5 by 5 metres, so it's not huge, and that is the window that gives me the lovely view down to the valley behind. So I've put those out for people. I've also brought the definitive kind of guide to building with straw bales. It's a little out of date this edition now, with Barbara Jones. This is kind of the method that I learned. It's been developed a bit over the years and improved upon, but effectively what I'm doing is Barbara's method. It's our lovely Eco Homes programme. I think there's about 20 houses participating this year, and I've been to quite a lot of them. And then I've got a little slideshow on the computer as well, which you might not be able to see. So that slide is just showing when I purchased the plot and what it was like, and I lived here in the caravan for a few months. Had the services installed back in July. I've got power and water, and then the foundations went in August. And for some reason the slides aren't progressing. That's the thing. Maybe I've just broken it, God knows. This is a little map showing where all my materials came from, which are all pretty local. Next one is, oh, this is hazels. I didn't talk about this. So my friend Sophie has a nice bit of land and maybe 20 hazel stools, which are very overgrown and in need of coppicing. And hazel is a product that we kind of use for straw bale building. You use a shave horse and a draw knife to make nice pointy stakes and stubs, and they go in. Let me take you over here. I haven't got any in place at the moment. I can show you in principle what's going to happen. So on top of this box it's going to go a 2x4, 4x2 ladder, and you take a spade bit, which is one of these, carve out a hole, and then bang in one of these pointy scary things, and then when you put the bales on, you push it down onto these and it helps to pin them in place, hold them in place while you're building. And then we make these long ones, and then basically once you get up to kind of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 bales high, you bang them down with your lump hammer, and that helps to hold them in place. It's not so necessary for timber frame. If you're a load bearing straw, then you might do that, but mine are basically pinned in place either side by the timber uprights. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but there's a notch cut in the bale here, which is half the depth of the post. So you're notching and recessing the post into the straw on either side. So the bales can't really move. They can't move in or out. They're notched and pinned at both ends. I'll be doing a little straw demo later when people arrive. I may have no one arrive, in which case I have a lot of post preparation to do today. Not sure if we've got one you can see. I've cut a notch in one of them and then lost it. No, can't see it. Anyway, some of the posts are really long, 5 metres, but there weren't enough 5-metre trees, so some of the long posts will be made up of a short one and a medium length one, kind of spliced together. So over the course of the day, in between tours and stuff, I'm going to be marking up posts and cutting them with my shiny new circular saw. I'm starting to collect power tools, which is very exciting. What else is there to say? Everyone always asks me when it's going to be done. I don't know is the answer to that. It needs to be done by this time next year for the mortgage. I've got about a year. Mortgage arrived on Wednesday, 50 odd grand. The first instalment, I'll get another 18 when I need it, but 50,000 is more than enough for me to get on with paying for timber and windows and floor joists and the roof. And I think then you normally apply for your second batch of mortgage funding when you've got a kind of weather-tight shell. So I'll easily achieve that within budget. I'm sure I'll run out of money at the end. Budget's £70,000. The land cost me 50, 70 for the house, and then it was valued for the mortgage at 165,000, which I think is slightly conservative, but it's pretty unique for the village. Most of the village is there's a lot of old terraces. Really lovely, and then a few slightly larger cottages. This is a big complex of barns which was converted, Blacklands Farm. But yeah, most of the terraces, they don't have a parking space. Parking's a real problem in the village, and only have little gardens as well. So I have a parking space, it's small. I have a garden, it's small, but it's there, and it's a detached house, 2-bedroom. So anyway, I feel pretty confident that it's going to be worth a chunk more than I pay to build it. It's not a financial thing, but it's nice to have that kind of, what's the word? I don't know, security anyway. So I'll probably sign off now and hopefully get around to blogging soon. I've got about 4 blogs outstanding about the straw and the timber and starting the frame and pictures and things to post, but it's been just pretty mad actually. Like, it's Sunday morning, it's about 11:15, and yesterday, Open Eco Homes, I was in the field for transition homes, so I was doing stuff like 9 till 1:30, and then pretty much all afternoon I was on the laptop doing reconciliation for my mortgage and looking at how much VAT I can reclaim and looking at things I need to order for when we start the next batch of framing next week. And I didn't put the laptop down till 10 o'clock, so it's just pretty full on. I knew it would be, building a house and working 3 days a week. But yeah, it's very exciting that it's starting to take shape. So I will sign off for now and post this hopefully this evening on Facebook. Bye!